So guys, you are going to listen to another 20 minutes of Italian English, so at least you will have fun, okay? So we are two of the coaches and consultants from Agile Reloaded, but we have a specific focus and passion for the people side of the organization. So every day we work with HR teams and in different organizations from small to big one. So I just want to understand from which area of the organization you come from. So who of you is from the business? Okay. From technology?
Wow.
Okay. From HR?
In front.
Do you wanna?
Sorry, guys.
Okay, so I want to start with a story. Some nights ago, I was at a dinner just before an important conference in Venice, and I was at the table with a group of strangers. You know, that kind of situation where you share experiencing, where you know different people and so on. So just next to me, there was a tech guy that was describing what he was doing, his business, and so on. At a certain point, they told me, you know, I'm working in Agile, but I'm passionate about HR. He stopped, and he immediately switched the way he was speaking with me. So immediately starting using another vocabulary, something more imaginative, something that looks more important, something more HR-ish from his perspective. I said, okay, it was funny, to be honest, but I immediately realized that I was facing something that we are facing on a daily basis in the organization. Why? Because when we are speaking with the teams, one of the most popular comments that we receive is, you know, those from HR, they stay at the higher flow in the company, they don't know anything about us, they have no connection with us. Okay, but at the same time, we work with HR people, and they said, okay, we develop a lot of initiatives, a lot of programs, we have a lot of ideas and tools. Unfortunately, they are used not that often. We feel that our work is not that important for our people. Okay, so I think that we have a kind of a problem in this relationship, at least in the company we work for. As you know, the mission and HR completely changed since the beginning and is still changing, actually. So it seems that there is a lot of innovation in HR. Some months ago, we participated to another conference without the dinner before, unfortunately. And this conference was about the new design in the organization. So we attended to a lot of talks about agile, flat organization, smart working. The last talk was extremely diverse and divergent. So the speaker basically argued that agility and innovation in the company and in HR in particular are a completely waste of time. He thinks that only 10% in the organization require really to be able to respond to change and to be adaptive, and the other 90% just require strong processes, discipline, and very good surgeons. I was really upset when I listened to this, to be honest, because it doesn't reflect my way of thinking. So I understood that it was provocative and he wanted to be provocative. But at that point, we also realized that that was a good opportunity to keep that perspective in mind and to understand if something was useful in that perspective. So, again, some days ago, we were working with people very influential in one of the Agile transformation we are working with. And we were speaking about the Agile Manifesto. So they said, and we said to that person, you know, the Agile Manifesto is from 2001. And that person told us, is that old? Okay. So she was not aware that the Agile Manifesto is from 2001. And it's not a problem per se, okay? It's not a criticism. It's just to remind to ourselves that the Agile Manifesto was born from practitioners from software development. So now we are working with people from very different areas of the organization. At the same time, we are, as coaches, we are receiving a lot of questions from HR, questions like how to manage career in Agile, how to pay people in Agile, how to do whatever in HR. So we see two options. The first one is that it's just a matter of language, so that how to manage career in Agile stands for how to manage career in a company that is trying to implement Agile. The other one is expecting that Agile per se is able to give you all the answer also in this. So, from our experience, HR could be involved or not involved in the Agile transformation. So, in the first case, HR is not involved. And at a certain point, they understand that something is happening in the company, and here everything could happen. So, or they could start to collaborate, doing their best, or, unfortunately, they could start to try to hinder the Agile transformation. On the other side, we are working with companies where HR is leading the Agile transformation. In both cases, we are realizing that one of the most important themes in all this situation, both for HR, the company, and the teams in this Agile context, is career. So career is really felt as one of the key themes at the moment in all the organization, right?
Yep. So we used to know that HR is in charge at least two fundamental things: careers and the development of people, with training, support, appraisal. But from our point of view, a career should be considered itself a development journey. It's not a set of predefined steps on a row. And when we talk about development, we focus on this fourth element: a professional growth, the way we can manage work, a personal growth, the way we act and understand what we are good at, an evolution of what we call impact. So it's not about size, but about the relevance for us of the impact we have to work, in the work, and a recognition of what this impact or growth from people we work with as understand. So there's no development of this kind if we work alone without referring the change to something. That said, while a career develops, there's factor interaction and relation that can hinder, support, or multiply your development. Think about your journey, and you recall in seconds, I guess, who has such an effect on your today job. A growing concept that we like to use about career and development in the new organization is improving the employability instead of reaching high position in the hierarchy. It's focused on different components of our development and how we can impact the system. It considers skills and knowledge and awareness about our work. But while skills and behavior should be learned, should be trained as before by ourselves. So this kind of thing can be built. How can we know if we made the right choices? And if we will be successful and satisfied? Only afterwards, in retrospective, of course. We need to try to go and see. So to improve our employability inside and outside the company is about collecting different experience and make different experience to develop our skill of knowledge and transfer and understanding. That's why for us journey is a good metaphor. But there is another one that we'll see in a minute. Because in the organization today is happening this kind of things. Conventional career paths are based on these drivers. So the space for growth in the hierarchy. These drivers are quite too fixed and deterministic for today's works, especially in big companies that are trying to adopt Agile as an organizational model. If we design career based on experience and employability, companies could be more adaptive and at the same time could let the people having more option to choose to develop themselves and add value to the work. But we're not a matter of this is wrong and this is right. They're two different ways to reach different goal in different contexts. We're not saying that we need to shift from one to another. It's more about starting to integrate one paradigm with the other, because in big and wide organizations, we can expect to reach a complete and networked roles system. So we should at least focus on markets and value stream. That said, who managed these career things? Who has the ownership of this journey? Think about your career. It should be something that adds value over time to you, decision by decision over time. There's another things that work in the same way, and we agile people should know what it is. It is the product and the service we're building. Try to follow me. Every product should fit a market need with value and solution to needs that are constantly evolving. What happens in a company about your contribution while you work is the same things. Every role in a team or a company should add value and solve problems while taking challenges and to innovate. So we can act as a product owner of our own career. But what is the best way to develop a successful product or service in an evolving market with the customer? Is it partnership? Is the role of the product owner? To develop this partnership, to be partner of a customer and stakeholder, to work together. Why we need this kind of partnership? What is the goal of a career partnership? To have success, to perform, to reach the highest level of performance. Who's responsible for this performance? Okay, it's a long journey, guys. About responsible, we like to explain what we like to say when we talk about being responsible of something, because it's not so clear in the organization. It's about culture. First thing is to respond, to give answer, an option to manage the things. Second, in order to properly respond, you need to be incompetent. You need to say what you are doing. So you should not be responsible for something you don't know what it is, right? How many managers here? Acting is not as an actor, but as a doer. So it's fundamental to be involved actively, having skin in the game. We don't want people to be responsible to stuff that other people do. Not anymore. And the most important thing is being responsible to have to manage the results, good or bad, of the action and the decision you take as a responsible. Clarify this. We've used to say in the past that the responsibility about development and people and performance are set in this way. So a company was responsible and in charge to develop people, and people was responsible and in charge to perform. In the modern knowledge work we're doing is mostly based on experience, so it's not updated. This is why we prefer this option today, because the company is in charge to creating option to let the people develop. Let's say the company should be responsible for creating the context, the option, in order to work with people that should develop themselves based on what the company needs now. And together we can anticipate some future scenario. Here lies the responsibility of reaching the best performance from both parties in the relationship you have said before, so the partnership. This is the key challenge for HR to deal with in the next few years, because we have a lot of things to change. Because partnering means to dialogue, not only communicate to people, interact, working together, and frequently checking the health status of this relationship to fix it, adjust it, or to close it. Why not? So how about creating options for people? For, say, hundreds of people, thousands of people, thousands of employees in different locations, countries, markets that work in different culture and serve different markets. There's not only function in HR that should be decentralized. There's a lot of skills, a lot of experience, years of experience. And we're okay with cross-functional teams and T-shaped professional about the people on this side. But we can't ask for owning also a bit of all this stuff only to streamline the HR issues. Because we see often that if we consider 6 to 12 months to have a streamlined and optimized process of delivering something to the market, if we are making more of 12 months, it's something related to HR, or at least the organization. Because all these things is linked to the governance of the organization, the country, the law. It's not easy to change. What about the partnership to develop here? So, what kind of partnership we should seek? It's about partnering with people in team for fastening this feedback loop from there. So there will be processes that can become more effective if done together with people in the team. There is something to transform, something to revamp, something to get rid of entirely. But it's not about HR to become fully agile. It's to start working on the things that allows teams to test and choose the right agile methodologies and find a decent way to scale. Challenge is time, of course. We cannot ask HR for having the same speed in which we are developing product and market value to a customer, at least in big organization. Because initiatives and projects that start from HR and organization aims to create options that can be developed at scale for hundreds of people that are learning today and discovering how to scale in the market. So it's about scaling something that are learning how to scale. It simply doesn't fit in the calendar. It's like building a house on the sand. We are also asking people and teams to be more adaptive and self-organizing. But it can be far easier if we provide them tools, solid, and support that is clear how it works and where to find. It's a matter of providing enough options to choose from, not to reinvent everything. And we think that the new inspirational model from startup that aims to not to have needed of HR because of this connected network of self-organizing, autonomous, adaptive teams that work like startup is not suitable for big organization due to the structure, the culture, and the market of this kind of organization. So we have to deal with the sort of organizational legacy that need to be addressed like the one we have in software. Refactoring, while assuring in the same time that current services stay at least at the same instead of getting worse. So let's close with what we think we should do as agile coaches in big organization, because it's what we do every day together with the HR team for our customer. We needed to start from basics because we were assuming that they know about how to work in Agile and they're expecting to see something. But we start to train. We start to train something by doing. We start to from the basics. It were a challenge more for us than for them.
Then, second point is to put the right focus on partnership, as we told. So we are helping all our HR teams in reducing the gap between their department and the teams. We are also working with them, starting using personas, employee journeys, and so on. So just really to close this distance between HR and the teams. Then help those teams in growing. So what does it mean? Potentially on one side, also growing in size, because if you move from just developing the tool in building this kind of relationship, maybe some teams, some HR's team looks a bit understaffed, but also growing in skills and new competencies to deal and manage that partnership.
Last is related to organizational model. We are convinced that, and we try to create the original organizational model within the company while working with the people. So the organization should not be searching, find a model to adopt, but is inspired by model and create a new organizational model from inside with the people that's more coherent with the business side and the context. So we're trying to create with people what they need to work in an organizational scale. So it's a matter of creating something new while searching for one best solution. That's our experience. Of course, it's not the true, it's our experience, not something, it's something we are observing. So we'll be fine to have your point of view about that. Thank you.
Thank you.
One or two questions?
Two questions.
Yeah, we have time for one or two questions, and then we'll all go and get a drink and some pizza.
Wow. We flew to London just for this. So
Okay. So any questions, anyone?
okay.
Good throw.
Oh, it's working. Yeah,
Yeah.
thank you. Really good talk, and it actually linked really well for, I think, us in terms of the two previous talks that came to it. A question probably for you guys, but also anyone else that talked previously. If you have a transformation project, so you're embedding Agile, you're embedding design thinking, any new way of working, it then goes to company culture. You're trying to change company culture. How do you protect the individuals that will back a culture change? So your first people that are going to say, yeah, I back this new way of working, I back this new culture, but maybe my KPIs and the HR department don't back me, my managers don't. You need those few first people in Agile or in those ways of working to really embed what you're trying to do in that change, but they don't feel protected and they actually feel like backing the transformation is a risk. How do transformation projects and HR work together, and do you think there's more of an alignment there that needs to be happening to protect those individuals?
Yeah, so personally, I have seen something like that. So people that fell under risk because the transformation, that was right. And
Managers that felt a risk of losing
a lot
something.
of manager, for sure. So there was a lot of support from the coaches. So I completely disagree with the word resistancy. You know, when we talk about the transformation, I really prefer the word readiness. So I assume that maybe that person is not ready that moment for such a big change. So it will need help and collaboration and a safe context to understand what's happening, and that maybe is not that risky.
Yes, and the metrics you talked about, so KPI and something related to performance, are related to the old way of work. So we need to clarify and find, is they really helping somewhat? Because often these KPI are KPI for KPIs. It's not related to business value. There is a moment in which this is a big mess. Okay, it's okay. Just to be aware and clarify how things that are already in-house and working are not helping, really helping. Also hinder the transformation. We see everyday procedures and processes that's slowing down agility. So the company are asking us, please help us being more agile with the system that made performance appraisal in this way every day to individual and not to the team. Example.
Thanks.
Talking.
Next one.
Any issue with the unions?
Not yet in UK, but in Italy, yes, because with thousands of people, you have hundreds of people involved in the union. So not in the technology side and the software development, more on the traditional side of the enterprise, so factory or sales, a network of services. And it is one of other stakeholders that should be partnering with us. It's not a way to oppose or to defend something. And there is another legacy in the union, because the way the market and the teams, the way of work of teams are evolving is not at the same speed that the union are aware of what is happening. As a work council in Europe, also our sindacati in Italia.
Yeah.
So yes, thank you.
Thank you.